My Vice Chancellor, sir, it is amazing that a little refugee girl who was a primary school teacher for 6 months only, who had aspired to be a nurse, a soldier, a banker, is now a professor of 17 years standing in education. The first female lecturer in the Faculty of Education, the first head of educational management and policy, the first female professor in Odidi, the first female dean, Faculty of Education, the first female director, continuing education program, all to the glory. I have undertaken to speak on teaching effectiveness, service orientation, pedagogy, and personality. The teacher's disposition, desire, willingness, and motivation to offer quality instruction are central to quality in teaching. For this to be understood, certain behavioral patterns need to be considered. I shall therefore address, among other things, those attributes of the university teacher's behavior and personality that show his disposition or willingness to be of service to the institution as a teacher, and the importance of pedagogical skills that will make him or her an effective teacher. Introduction. The Vice Chancellor's vision on Project 200 involves need for talented / quality and committed teachers, including researchers. The willingness also of the teacher to be of service to the institution. Teacher to be service-oriented. Teacher to have what it takes to teach. That is, if you have that appropriate pedagogical skills or good personality traits and sound academic integrity, then you know that you're a good teacher. A teacher then is a person who connects students to knowledge, competency, and question. Mustafa says that a good teacher is like a candle. It consumes itself to light the way for others. That is, a good teacher wears himself out, burns candle, research in order to get information, in order to turn a raw material to finished product. So teachers are very important in school organization. So a teacher must have certain qualities that will enable him to teach. A teacher must be honest, have the quality of charisma, passion, warmth, and influence the students. A teacher must also have to connect and inspire children in a classroom setting. So looking at the effective teaching, effective teaching model. You see the teacher is at the center, and then the teacher is connected to pedagogical skills, which that teacher will use to teach. Personality traits also is very important in the life of a teacher. So also the service orientation skills. You have that skill to help the student, to cooperate with the student, to be considerate with the student. So if you have all this, it means that heading towards to be an effective teacher. So let's pedagogy. Explain it again. Pedagogy describes all the strategies used for teaching. Here I mentioned personal communication and pursuit for effect. Support a student with prompts, rewards and punishment, presenting manageable amount of information. You look at the classroom layout, assessment, and good oversight over the whole class. All this will make the student well connected. Then service orientation is defined as the disposition to be helpful, thoughtful, considerate, and cooperative. Higher education has been considered a business-like industry where students who pay their school fees tend to behave like customers and expect a significant return on their investment. So this led to service-oriented teaching approach to higher education. Personality. Here we have two types of personality. There are personality traits that are external and where people can see those aspects of us that other people can see. That is what we appear to be. It encompasses also those qualities that we may not be able to see directly, that a person may try to hide from others. The most widely used system of traits is 5-factor model: openness, conscientiousness, extraversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. My research contribution on teaching effectiveness. Teaching effectiveness is defined as the ability to produce gain on students' achievement scores, taking account of a baseline measure of student prior attainment and other characteristics of student intake. Kashif and Payne highlighted 5 principal themes that students attribute to outstanding teaching in business school as subject knowledge, communication skill, positive attitude, creative work, and personality of the faculty member. How do we measure teacher effectiveness? Many factors here contribute to a student's academic performance, but the most important of them all is the teacher. How then can we measure an individual teacher's effectiveness? So in Fit 2, teacher performance rating model. You see, a teacher can rate a teacher. Students can rate the teacher, and admin also can rate a teacher in order to prove whether that teacher is an effective teacher. So these performance criteria are used based on two aspects of job performance: service orientation / personality measures, and teaching effectiveness measures. As I said earlier, I use the opinions of the teachers about himself, the opinions of the students about the teacher, and the opinions of the dean and the HOD about the teacher. So for service orientation index, was calculated from 3 sets of the rating that I mentioned earlier. So this method I use, that is the geometric mean technique. I use it because it will reduce the weight attached to any large rating, especially from the teacher. When the teacher rates himself high, it will play down on it. And also, if the students or the HOD score the teacher low, it will also play down on the score. So for this study, I used 4 states in the southern east of Nigeria. 4 universities were involved, 4 faculties, 16 departments, 33 teachers, and then 2,174 students, as well as 16 HODs. So data were obtained using the teacher-student rating instrument that I gave a note, as well as teacher admin rating instrument and teacher self-rating instrument. So findings show that on the average, in 58% of the cases, teachers rated themselves highest. Students rated teachers next highest in 27% of the cases, while the HOD of the department rated them highest only in 15% of the cases. Then for the individual lecturers, a lecturer scored himself 71%. The students on the average scored him 18%. On his attitude towards the students and teaching of his courses, the HOD scored him 50%. So it was observed that most lecturers, no matter how bad, rated their performance highest. That's it. Another teacher scored himself 62 on this same attitude. Students scored him 79%, and the HOD scored him 97%. What can you say about this? This also shows that not all teachers overrate themselves. A service orientation index was found also to vary from 0.565 to 0.905, with an average of 0.716. 12% of the lecturers were rated below 60. That is the cutoff for a service-oriented teacher, while 15% of the lecturers were rated 75 and above. So it means that any lecturer rated below 60, maybe that lecturer is not committed or dedicated or did not use his or her marking scheme, or is a laissez-faire teacher. It means that that person lacks academic integrity. Lecturer with service orientation index above 75 are more likely to display more academic integrity. Means that these lecturers are likely to be honest, committed, dedicated, cares for their students. They can go extra mile in order to help the students. And then again, another finding, the average exam scores of these students use we are compared with service orientation indices of the teachers they rated. Findings show that average exam scores of students increase as service orientation indices of teachers also increase. The mean service orientation indices of readers and professors and some senior lecturers with long teaching experience were higher than for the lecturer 1 and 2. This suggests that teachers of high rank and low teaching experiences are most likely to be more concerned and care for the students. This may be why in many disciplines, foundation courses are taught by professors and associate professors, maybe senior lecturers. For teaching effectiveness, 52% of the teachers rated themselves highest. 27% of the students rated them highest, while HUOD rated 21% of them highest. This also follows the same rating pattern as seen with service orientation. Teaching effectiveness index using geometric mean varied from 67.6% to 90.4%, with an average value of 76.8%. There are no teachers scored below 60%, while 64 of the teachers were rated 75. Again, teaching effectiveness indices for teachers were correlated with service orientation indices. Analysis here showed that teaching effectiveness index and service orientation index were positively correlated, i.e., a teacher with high service orientation index had a high teaching effectiveness index. In conclusion, an effective teacher will have to have high service orientation index and high teaching effectiveness index, and most likely will have high academic integrity. With the same research questionnaire, I traveled overseas to Southern Connecticut University, and I tried to use it. My chair stopped me because you have to verify it. If you know the history of US, you don't just start distributing to human beings. So because of that, we wrote to the US Department of Health and Human Services, Rockville, Maryland. This office is tasked with specifying the conduct of research involving humans. So when they approve it, I use it. And even though they approve it, many did not want to accept the questionnaire. So the approved questionnaire was administered to 68 students in 11 departments and 35 teachers in 3 schools or faculty who accepted to participate in the study. So in the Department of Public Health, for service orientation, mean student rating of teachers was 73.4%, while teachers rated themselves 86.7%. For teaching effectiveness, mean student rating of teachers was 76.1%, while teachers rated themselves 90.3%. The same trend in Nigeria. So in the Department of Accounting, for service orientation, mean student rating of teachers was 73.2%, while teachers rated themselves 73.1%. Not much difference was observed in the mean rating here. For teaching effectiveness, mean student rating of teachers was 76.1%, while teachers rated themselves 79.9%. The same trend in teachers rating themselves very high, as in public health department. So why in this is the research I did there? Because in the 1980s, many universities, especially in the third world countries, were battling with skills in computer and both equipment and teacher knowledge were in short supply. You people might be saying, why am I doing research in teaching mathematics? My husband made it happen. You know, I was afraid of math then. But he lectured me, taught me math. Like in all my undergraduate, EAD and whatever, I scored AA throughout. In Alabama, if anybody wants to solve math, actually, they will tell the person, go and meet Ada over there. So much research was geared toward explaining to teachers and students alike the usefulness of computer in teaching and learning. The problem posed was, would skills learned in computer programming courses surface in mathematics? So I used the Alabama A&M education student for this particular study. Analysis using two-tailed t-test showed that a significant difference existed between the mean mathematics score of students who had earlier taken a course in computer programming and the mean score for those who had not. Thus, prior knowledge in computer programming provided a good motivation or vehicle for specific learning outcome in mathematics. Computer programming encourages the development of good problem-solving skills, and teachers will be expected to have computer programming skills to appreciate the implication of using computer. So after I did this, my husband can tell there with some of my classmates, they gave us, I say, an award where they enter their name, this is who is who or whatever, because of this. There. How much time do I have? So looking at this evaluation of teacher performance, integrated teacher evaluation model. This is a research I did here with my group. And looking at the middle, you will see a teacher that is being evaluated at the middle. And the students rated the teachers, while the external supervisors also rated the teacher. Also, the admin, the HODs and the deans also rated the teacher. So there is need to ensure reliability in teacher performance evaluation. This can be achieved to a very large extent through the use of multiple resources of data and multiple evaluation tools. Thus, integrated teacher evaluation model was developed with three basic constituent elements. Evaluation by external supervisors, as I said earlier, by school head or departmental head, and by student evaluation using multiple evaluation tools. This model also integrates the major stakeholders in the education. That's the government, the consumer, that's the student, the academic leader, that's the HOD. But also it utilizes multiple data to yield reliable information on teachers' performance. Reliable data on teachers' performance help address weaknesses observed in some teachers, and so offer opportunities for improvement of program. So another research is on perceptions of teacher performance. Here, a study was carried out to ascertain perception of stakeholders on teacher performance. Teachers and students from 9 departments, 5 faculties in 4 universities in the southeastern states were used. The findings show that students and the heads of departments' perception of teachers' teaching effectiveness were more in agreement, being lower than teachers' perceptions. Then this recommendation was made. I recommended is the use of teachers' evaluation of teaching as a reliable measure of teachers' effectiveness or quality assurance in the university system. Connectedness in teaching and learning. This research, I started it overseas, but I didn't finish it. And when I came back here, we completed it with somebody in my team. So here is a student at the center. And for a student to be connected in every activity that is going on in the school, staff must show that they care. Teachers must do something to help the student to be somebody. A peer group also have a lot to do. Then the management also has a lot to do. The transition from the confines of the home to higher institution means a different dimension of life for most of these students. So when they come into the school, they don't know much about the school. So we, the lecturer, will help them to come nearer and make sure that they will be connected to all the activities and teachings going on in the school. Student perception of this condition leads to the understanding of their connectedness to the school and school activities. So we studied this with 772 students drawn from a university, a polytechnic, and a college of education in Anambra State. And we found that on the average, the students were moderately connected to their schools, more supported by and connected to their school management, while support and connectedness to their teachers was low. And this is, I want to say this is exactly what is happening now here. In the meeting, I didn't attend the meeting of PG yesterday. They discussed about students running away from this particular institution because of our attitude. We should try to call them in, help them, counsel them, mentor them, so that they will be well connected and they will no more run away. This is a problem we are having. this institution. Programs that will involve the students and encourage more teacher-student interaction outside the school were recommended. If we can, we are human beings, we know what to do and how to help the students. At times when they come, we drive them away. You don't even attend to their problems. You don't even counsel them. You don't even mentor them. Like they failed to mentor me and them. And that's why we say we will never be professors. And we are not going to PhD. But later, because of my darling and so on, they said, go and do your PhD. And we moved on. So we have to learn how to call these students back so that they stop running away from us. So a student of mine worked on teacher connectedness. How connected are teachers to the student that may translate a good student performance? The extent to which teachers perform their teaching of students with a due sense of commitment and attachment was studied by this my student. Then we find out that a positive correlation was found between teachers' connectedness to the students and to the school management, which translated to greater student achievement. So we recommended conducive classroom environment for the teachers so that they will feel well relaxed in order to attend to student programs. Another student of mine also worked on student engagement with school and learning. This involved their behavior, cognitive, psychological experiences. So we use 419 SS3 students in 4 boys schools and 4 girls schools in Anambra State. And 4 null hypotheses were tested. One of them showed that the level of emotional engagement of students is high, and low-performing schools differed significantly. It was generally concluded that if students will be made to see the link between working hard at school and being successful in life, engagement level will be significantly raised and the academic performance will be greatly enhanced. Let me go to Christian religious values. Christian religious values reflect the beliefs and practices which followers of Jesus Christ adhere to. Some of these values include love, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Do we have these traits? Ask yourself. Christ is the greatest teacher of these values. Lessons taught by Jesus are challenging, yes. His texts are difficult. His methods are unpredictable, but the education is priceless. God is a teacher that will repeat his lessons until they are learned. Do we do that? At times when they ask you questions, you ignore the student. learn from Jesus. We are called upon to have the same attitude as Jesus Christ. Christ-like attitude develops service-oriented attitudes. Then humility, love, and fear of God in our teaching will follow, and we excel in academic integrity. Conclusion. The teacher is the single most important factor affecting student performance in the education of children in any nation. The national development of such a nation depends on it. One of the greatest problems encountered in the measurement of teacher performance. This lecture identified a measurable technique that enables the quantitative determination of teaching effectiveness using rating of students and teachers and the administration. The techniques, if judiciously applied, can identify an effective teacher. Applications to teacher hiring and performance assessment were highlighted, especially in the World Webometric ranking of universities. In concluding, finally, teachers may develop strong teaching excellence, strong academic integrity, both in teaching and research. The result will be quality graduates, quality research output, national development, improved standing in webometric ranking of the university, achievement of objectives of Project 200 for UNICEF. Recommendations. Institute starts and enforceable policies on recruitment of quality teachers and admission of quality students, institution of modern pedagogy, monitoring of lectures and examination, institution of team teaching and conference marking of skills, deterrent for academic fraud in research and teaching, promotion criteria for teachers, which take into account measures of teacher integrity and teaching effectiveness, and well-structured teaching effectiveness. Regular workshops of in-service training is very important. And also, we have to involve students' opinion in the assessment of teachers in this university, if VC will allow that. If we ignore the word of God, we have nothing to teach to others. A good teacher is like a candle. It consumes itself to light the way for others. Acknowledgement. I wish to acknowledge God Almighty, because without Him, I will not be standing here today. He is my teacher, my deliverer, my promoter, and my all. He raised me from the dust and put me a crown of gold upon my head. May His name be glorified. I remain grateful to the former Pro-Chancellor and the entire members of 8 governing council They called me. No one is here, but they told me that they will not be here because of the assignments they have. They are watching it online. A rapport that existed between the external and internal members was unable. Our deliberations at council had been purposeful, peaceful, God-directed, and full of humor. Everybody worked for the well-being and success of the Vice Chancellor and the unity. That's what we did. Because they can bear me with it. And the VC can bear me with it. I salute in a special way the sixth Vice Chancellor of this great university, Professor Charles Simone, FAS, a calm and visionary leader whose smile is contagious. At times when I see him smile, I start smiling. Your vision for this university was captured in this presentation. Your humble and Christian disposition has led to the peace and reigns. And my special friend, First Lady Dr. Chine, she phoned me, "Mommy, I'm coming home. I'm with Daniel, that I must be here." And she came. I thank you for that. I also appreciate my former Vice Chancellor, Professor Awka, for telling me to run again for day shift, and I said no. And she said that you don't know what you are doing. Others will say yes. Say yes. And then I said, no, sir. Also, I appreciate the former Vice Chancellor, Professor Joseph Ahani, who calls me always a former. I appreciate you all. My special thanks goes to the Igwe of my town. He phoned me, and he's in Abuja. He said that he's watching it online, as VC said. His Royal Highness Igwe Farm LS Onido as a chairman one of Odidi Kingdom, for your humility, friendliness, and for your developmental and peaceful efforts on matters affecting Odidi. It's a good Igwe indeed. Also, all my lecturers from A&M, I appreciate each and every one of them. Most especially my president, the president of the university. He always called me Ada. Go and call Ada. I want to say her. That's why you hear me always calling myself Ada. And my special friend, Ida. I have a friend also, Ida. Brown. My appreciation also goes to my research collaborators, Professor Ngozi, Dr. Isaac Odimebu, Professor Onelaya, Onyebadi, and others. I appreciate each and every one of you. My teachers at Unity, Dr. Alice Endo, was a good teacher, just like a mommy to me. And others, I appreciate each and every one of them. My departmental staff in educational management and policy. This department went through a hell, but I thank God my dean is here. Professor Nkechi Ikedu. We fought together and we became a department. We came out of foundation to be a department, and then I headed that particular department. Then I was the HOD of Educational Foundation. I thank my dean, Nkechi. Prof, I appreciate you. And other deans in the faculty, and my sisters, former director Sandwich, Professor Uche, my baby sister. I salute all of you. And my family members, my late father, my siblings, both those here and those abroad. I thank you for your support. And High Chief Emeka Benedor, I thank you all. Engineer Emeka Benedor, I thank you all. They are watching it overseas. That's what they're doing. My in-law, High Chief Emeka Omeni, and Ngozi Omeni, ABM Tony, and Ambassador Amaka Omeni, Chief Christopher, and Nkiru Omeni, and other Omenis, and including the Associate Professor, HOD, Early Childhood, Professor Obian and Mom. She's my sister-in-law. I salute all of you. Including Keno Nora and all the Honoras, all my in-laws, and so on. I salute you all. My children, they are here, including my grandchildren. Whenever I'm reading, they will draw me at the back of the pen. PJ, Chini, Dr. Mma, Melu, Engineer Obinna, Glorious Uchenna, and all my children, including my sunshine. I named him Sunshine, and I'm calling him Sunshine. I thank you all. And all my PhD classmates. You know, during my PhD, Oyeka taught us statistics. And in that statistics, after the exam, Professor Oyeka called me. I answered. He said, I cannot give you 100% for this. I will minus. I told him, go ahead. And that's what he did. So I thank him for being a good lecturer. And I sat sitting down there for making me to be a mathematician. My thanks also goes to all my PhD students. About 13 of them, or more than 13, those that have graduated, 25, about 25, all of them came down just to wish me well. And they're wearing a shebi for me, including Nkoli, Dr. Nkoli sitting down there, and Dr. Egosi, and so many of them. Some are down there in the back. I appreciate each and every one of them. Then the Chapel of Glory, where I drew spiritual strength, I thank the chairman, Professor Chinonso Achebe, and the priest, and also my former chaplain. I continue calling him chaplain each time. He's there smiling at me. Thank you for your prayer and support. I appreciate you very well, including your wife. I thank the Full Business Men Fellowship and my principal at Girls Secondary School in Bidi and TTC, Mr. Obianeka, and others. The last and not the least, I appreciate Professor of Professors, my boyfriend, my motivator, my teacher, my mentor, my pastor, my prayer partner, my husband, my professor. Something else. You know, when I went down to Canada to be back to my baby, Canada with the US, they were sending me assignments from US down to Canada. I was in the hospital there. It's all around. He will package it, do it with me while on the bed. I will round it up, he will forward to them, and they will send another one. They did it, and I didn't miss a semester. Wow. That's what my lecturers did, because of the good relationship we have. Sam, I thank you. If there's anything like next work, you continue to marry me. Thank you all for listening. You can see some wait.
Can we give her a standing ovation, please? She really has delivered. I'm sure if you are to be a nurse, you're delivering babies per second. We want to thank her again. And she said something that is quite encouraging, that behind every successful woman is a very good and principled man like my friend, Emeritus Professor Sam Omeni. Prof, we thank you again and again. We're also happy that he drew you from where you'll be giving people injection to where you'll be giving them education, which is more important. Thank you. Of course, we all realize that he has told us how we are going to be evaluated. So as we are teaching, we also know that the students are also going to evaluate us one day. So may I now call on our Vice Chancellor. You can see, please. Professor Charles Simone has been described in various terms. We appreciate you, sir. If you can kindly come up to decorate our 67th inaugural lecturer, Professor Adasam Omei. I will call on our chairman, Professor Richard Mwawakwe, to present the medal to the Vice Chancellor. Thank you, sir.
Please, this is engineering combined with education. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, I confirm that Professor Adasam Omeni has successfully delivered his 7th inaugural lecture of Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, today, 16th of December 2021. I kindly ask you, sir, in the presence of this audience and our virtual audience, to recognize her duly and decorate her accordingly. The services, sir.
Thank you very much. I told us before that by the time we finish, we'll be better educated. And you can see that we're all better. I saw the Professor trying to recap what we in the past 1 hour. So that means you have delivered very well. Thank you. So it's my honor and singular pleasure on behalf of the Senate, on behalf of Council, Foundation of Nnamdi Azikiwe University, and Convocation to confer you, Professor Adasam Omei, the 67th inaugural lecturer of this great university, with this medallion, which is a symbol and is of significance that you have duly delivered your inaugural lecture of our great university. Congratulations. We thank you again, our Vice Chancellor and the entire university management for finding time to be with us today. We hope that other days will be like this. She has also informed you to make the environment more conducive for the teachers and pay them more. I hope that will also be taken care of. We've seen some signs of our mass something.
I want us to go over to the 13th item, which is vote of thanks. The music interlude will come after the end, or at the end of the program. I will also want Professor Ngozi to prepare a short closing prayer that she will give us. That's, I hope she's still here. Okay. Then the chaplain, you mentioned the chaplain.
Yes.
So I think that's more suitable to the past chaplain that is equal to chaplain. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Our masters of ceremonies. I think it brings a very good end to the year inaugural lecture service. I must very sincerely thank the Vice